Hello there. I'm back with another challenge run, and another of the historical battles. This time I have a double challenge for the Honfoglalas level. The first and most basic part is not allowing any cavalry. I play as the Magyars, who are built all around mounted units, so I will be avoiding them. I need to begin the level by deleting all of my starting cavalry archers and scouts. The other thing unique to this level is the Nomad mechanic. I begin the level as a nomad, and the second part of the challenge is to never become a settled civilization. There are positives and negatives to being nomadic, with the worst part being unable to train any more villagers. Building a town center will settle the civilization, so I'm stuck with just the 5 villagers from the beginning. I send what I have over to cut wood while I train up a few archers. The Magyar archers are pretty good, even without their great cavalry archers. I gather up all my sheep into a pen, as another benefit of being nomadic is that I get a constant trickle of food from the sheep in the pen. I'm not sure how fast it comes in per sheep, and it seems quite a bit less than the Magyars bonus, but it is infinite food. It's also collected much slower than just killing them normally though. The other benefits of being nomadic are that I get resources from raiding enemy buildings, and more villagers when I take down an enemy town center. That will come up later though, after I have built up enough to go on the attack. For now I just gather resources and explore to get more sheep. I have 3 enemies at the beginning of this level, but for now I'm in the feudal age and can't get much done against them. My weakest opponent are the Avars, who are in the center of the map with some cavalry to defend. I can raid them for resources, and if I take down their one town center, I will automatically advance to the castle age, in addition to the villagers that I will get. My other 2 enemies are Great Moravia to the north, and East Frankia to the west. They are much more formidable opponents that will reach the Imperial Age and continue to train armies. I need to defeat both of them to win the level. There is an alternative I can do to win by declaring war on the Bulgarians in the southeast, but that only becomes relevant after the Avars. For now I keep training more archers and a few skirmishers. I spread my few villagers over gold and wood, leaving the food collection to my sheep. I go ahead and build some walls around my camp, to be ready when the attacks come in. Once I have a decent group of archers, I head out and raid the Avars. But I have the worst timing, and Frankian knights show up while my army is away. It takes them a while to get back, and even when they do, they are all killed by the knights. Thankfully, they spend their time breaking my palisade walls, so I can train up more archers and a few spears to defeat them. With the attack finished, I build some watchtowers to hopefully be able to hold the camp while my army is away. A big downside to both staying a nomad and not using cavalry is that despite being in the feudal age, I should be able to train light cavalry and cavalry archers to raid. The opening of the level is balanced around having access to those castle age units, but I'm stuck with just feudal units. It won't matter if I can take out the Avars though, so I send my spears out. That ends up drawing in the Moravian infantry. There are enough of them to be dangerous, but at least my archers are a solid counter unit. Great Moravia advances to the Imperial Age, so I'm really running out of time to get my defenses stronger. I want to attack quickly to take advantage of the resources I get from raiding, so I head out with 20 men to deal some damage to the Avars. My archers can kill their cavalry without really taking any damage, and with a few spears I can deal a little extra damage to the buildings. Most of them are yurts anyway and fall pretty quickly. I send my weakened units back to garrison my defensive towers, and I use my new resources to train as many new archers as I can. I'm even able to get a couple of extra sheep from my pen. The rest of the Avar camp falls, and I send in a group of men-at-arms to destroy the town center. Fortunately, no more attacks come in on my base while my army was away, and I reach the castle age. I also get 3 more villagers to improve my economy. In the castle age, I can get the crossbow upgrade, and blacksmith upgrades to improve my archers. A final downside to being nomadic is that I can't build all of the regular buildings, with the most restrictive to my strategy being no university for ballistics and no monastery for monks. Even basic things like houses to wall with are off limits. Without a university, my crossbows can't be fully upgraded, but they are still a lot better than my old archers. Now that I'm in the castle age, the Byzantines offer me 2,000 gold and a free upgrade to the Imperial Age if I go to war with the Bulgarians. I'll hold off on it for the time being, but it's the only way that I would be able to reach the Imperial Age, so I'll probably end up doing it. With the Avars defeated, the enemies I need to fight are much stronger, so I spend some time building up my crossbow numbers. I can also now build a siege workshop and get some rams ready. East Frankia finally starts its attacks again, but this time I have enough archers to shoot down their paladins, so long as they don't send in too many at once. As the only way for me to reach the Imperial Age without a town center, I send my army and rams down to launch a surprise attack on the Bulgarian TC. This will add another enemy to deal with, but hopefully will be offset by the Imperial Age technologies. The attack is enough to take out the town center, but not a whole lot more than that. The Bulgarian army is big, and I lose my army, as well as the new villagers that I got from the TC. While my army is away being destroyed, attacks come in from both the Franks and the Bulgarians. I have enough towers to hold them for a while, not by doing a lot of damage, but just by occupying them, while the remnants of my archers march back to defend. They make it back in time to prevent a total loss. but all but one of my towers are gone. They were more effective because I was able to research Bracer, and now I upgrade to Arbalest as well. The lack of a university is really frustrating now, as I'm missing both ballistics and chemistry, and I can't even get any upgrades for my towers, which are still feudal ones. Even without these upgrades, my archers are a lot better against the enemy paladins, and I'm able to go on the attack against the nearby Moravian town center. It goes down to my capped rams, and I send the new villagers out to gather stone. It ends up being a terrible idea, as a Moravian army comes from the north and kills 4 of my very scarce villagers. Despite the loss of my villagers, I still have a strong army and head north to get revenge. A castle falls to my rams, and I find another TC to destroy up here. Moravia only uses infantry, so there is no way they can stop my huge army of Arbalests. I have to pull back to defend my camp again, losing a lot to Bulgarian siege rams, but then can head out on the attack again. This time I'm trying to take out the eastmost Bulgarian fortress. I'm not getting attacked by Great Moravia, so spending time attacking them won't help my defense. It goes poorly and I lose all my rams to their own siege rams. I train more rams, and this time I load them up with halberdiers. This time it goes well and the Krepost falls. I'm able to keep up the momentum and destroy another Bulgarian town center. This wipes out the first of the 3 Bulgarian fortresses, although I do lose my rams and have to hold here for a while. I'll need as many resources as I can get to keep making rams, so I head back into Moravia and destroy the last town center. I get a couple more villagers and send them to mine more gold. I try to send my army down to destroy the Bulgarian castle, but they have too many defenders and I'm only able to damage it. While waiting for the resources to build up another army, I have to keep defending against waves of cavalry, where I keep losing archers that I need to replace. I finally realize that even if I can't make villagers, there is still some stuff I can do to grow my economy. I build a dock and make some fishing ships. I don't use a lot of food, but I can at least trade it for more gold. I kill a few more villagers, and that causes Great Moravia to finally surrender. I only need to defeat one more enemy. The big problem is that I can't defend my base if my army is away fighting the Bulgarians, and I'm slowly losing more and more to the enemy waves. I build a big maze of palisades to try and defend with fewer men, and I send another attack, but that one also dies under the castle fire. The map is running out of gold, and I'm not really sure what direction to go in. I do realize that the Moravian market is still there, so I can make a trade route to actually sustain archer production. It kind of works, but starts getting raided by paladins, and I have to head out and fight. Something changes in the East Frankian attacks. The whole level it has only been knights, but now they show up with Teutonic knights, paladins, crossbows, and siege. My arbalests have been able to keep up until now, but this is too much. My camp is overrun, and I have to resign. Kind of frustrating to lose after almost 5 hours in the game, but I start again. This time I have a much better idea of what I need to do. I delete all my cavalry and start training up my archers. I explore to gather up all the sheep and send my villagers out to gather wood and gold. I wait for the first knights to attack so that I can be sure my base is safe, then attack the Avars. This time I head straight to the town center to reach the castle age and get the villagers as fast as possible. They die much quicker than last time, and I'm able to upgrade to crossbows. I can freely level all the yurts for their resources as well. My strategy this time is to try and get as many villagers as I can, as quickly as I can, to build up my economy as much as possible. To that end, I build a dock much earlier this time to start fishing, and I attack the close Great Moravia town center. It falls, and I get the villagers, then push up to the north to take their castle. Things all seem to be going much better, but something is different this time. Much earlier than last time, the full East Frankia army shows up to fight, and this time I have a lot less to defend against it with. Despite getting all my villagers earlier, I haven't had them long enough to get a lot of resources, so I'm hard-pressed to fight them off. I need some quick resources and power, so I declare war on the Bulgarians, getting 2,000 gold and Imperial Age. It helps tide over my defense, but now I'm being attacked twice as fast. I try making some trade cogs to supplement my gold, but it's too little too late. By now I only have a few dozen arbs, and not enough time to build up my numbers. It's time to restart one more time. The beginning is the same, deleting my starting units and gathering wood, gold, and sheep. This time I'm going to build up my non-villager economy right away to get rid of the biggest restriction of staying nomadic. I have to be careful where I put the dock. I want it as far away from the Moravian dock as possible to be more efficient, but I can't be too close to the Bulgarians or they will declare war on me. I get the trade route started even before I attack the Avars, becoming a rare instance of a trade route in the feudal age. I'm pretty sure there's an old Spirit of the Law video that says to never do that. I don't wait much longer to attack the Avars though, and they fall to my archers. With trade cogs to supply the gold, I can send all my new villagers to cut wood, simplifying my economy, and keeping my villagers a lot safer. All the ones that I've lost in the past were exposed at mines. I'm in the castle age now, which lets me both improve my archers and research caravans to improve my trade efficiency. With a more reliable economy this time, I built 4 archery ranges to overcome the slow production that was what was stopping me in the past. My trade route does take some damage from a coastal tower, but some longswords take it out easily enough, and my trade is fully secure. By now the Frankians have started their full attacks, but this time I finally have the numbers and production to at least keep up with them. I have some of my crossbows move out to attack Great Moravia, and still have enough left behind to defend my camp. Moravia doesn't defend with much, but East Frankia attacks through their base with enough men to cause a lot of trouble. I take down their castle with rams, and their town center falls like always, netting me a couple more villagers to gather wood. It all happens with minimal losses, although I almost mess up and destroy their dock. In the meantime, I start building up my towers again, as I'm getting towards the pop cap, and I want to keep improving my defense. The Frankian Teutons have started sending Imperial Age units, so I'll need all the firepower I can get. I keep a group of archers on the hills across the river from my camp, both for the hill bonus and so that I can have more space to kite them back to my second army. I attack the second castle from the north, but my rams get swarmed and their castle stands. I'd like to attack another town center, but I have to spend a long time going back and forth over these hills, fighting off Teutonic knights that can absorb so many arrows. It's frustrating, but I'm trying to avoid declaring war on the Bulgarians for Imperial Age, both because of their powerful army and because it would destroy my trade route. I do finally sneak in enough damage between waves to take out the town center and get its villagers. You might think this would weaken Great Moravia, but they seem to have finally figured out how to get their barracks to keep up production, and their champions take a lot of shots to bring down. It's not enough to kill my archers, but it occupies their fire enough for them to not deal much damage to the buildings that they need to. I try to take out their barracks to reduce their production, but it turns out that unlike their town centers and castles, they will just rebuild the barracks. With that option out the window, I'll just push for their last TC. I lose a ton of crossbows doing it to both the red and yellow armies, but it does eventually fall. Great Moravia doesn't surrender right away, and I have to kill off more of their villagers, but it isn't very difficult. Unfortunately, the moment they surrender, their dock collapses, and I don't have a trade route anymore. At this point I have a huge stockpile of gold, but I don't know how much I'll need to defeat my next, even stronger enemy. With Great Moravia gone, I have a decision to make. I need to pick which of the other two enemies I will defeat to win the level. After dying to combined waves of Conics and Paladins twice, I decide I'm just going to deal with staying in the Castle Age and fighting East Frankia. The Imperial Age upgrade does become available after defeating one of my enemies, but I don't have a town center to research it from. I miss out on a lot of gold and upgrades, but it does mean I only need to look out for attacks from one direction. Something is different again with the East Frankia army. This time, much more emphasis is on their Teutonic knights, and they don't even get the Paladin upgrade, just Cavaliers. Killing Cavaliers and elite Teutonic knights with Castle Age crossbows will take forever though. With Bulgaria as an ally, I can set up a new trade route with them, just in case I work through my 17,000 gold. They don't have a dock, so I'll delete my trading fleet and start building trade carts instead. I send my crossbows towards East Frankia, and I find a bunch of their villagers collecting wood and undefended. I kill them all, but I don't know if this will actually restrict their unit production. They have an extra long-range Teuton castle, and I can't even shoot down their gate without losing my men. So I head up around their walls where I can take out a few more villagers and houses. Strangely enough, they don't send much to defend against this attack, and I have the time to train up a ton of rams and send another group of crossbows forward. Once my rams and archers are ready, I send them against the gate. They try to destroy my rams, but my crossbows kill their units before they can do any serious damage. After the second gate falls, I can push on and take down their castle, which will reduce their Teutonic knight numbers. I was really expecting the fight against East Frankia to be a lot harder, but as soon as I defeated Great Moravia, they seem to have lost all their strength. It's either that, or my raid on their woodline did a lot more damage than I thought it would. Whatever the reason, their defensive forces are a lot smaller and I can kill them fast enough to protect my rams. I can take out more production buildings and one of their town centers, so it looks like I'm closing in on the end here. Their last town center is up in the cliffs, and I push that way. It's a little better defended, and I have to wait for some more ram reinforcements. But once I have them, I can take out the rest of their production buildings. Their last TC goes down, and then I need to head south, where I destroy their final castle. East Frankia surrenders, and I win the level. This has taken a long time, but I do sort of wish I could hold off on finishing the level, like in some of the Victors and Vanquished scenarios, and try my hand against the Bulgarians, but that will have to wait for another time. This was fun, both harder and easier than I expected. I was expecting the beginning to be a lot harder when I was so limited on defense, and I was expecting the end to be a lot easier when I had so many archers that it wouldn't really matter their upgrades. But it ended up being the reverse. The beginning was pretty easy, and it was the end where resource limitations had me lose twice. Speaking of resources, it's difficult to predict when raiding will be successful in a campaign. Sometimes the enemy has unlimited resources and the villagers are just for show, and sometimes it's incredibly effective at limiting their army production. Unlimited resources is something they've moved away from in more recent campaigns, but it does still come up. Knowing that raiding works against East Frankia, or at least appears to work, makes me think that this could be a lot easier than I made it, if a little less fun. I do wonder if I could potentially win the level without taking advantage of trading with the enemy, but if I went ahead and raided early, I would still have so few villagers, but it might be enough. I'll have to think about that some more. I don't think it would be worth another video, but it might make for a good stream. I've never tried streaming before, but I have been considering it a bit recently. Would people be interested in watching me stream challenge runs? Let me know. Another thing for the future with this level is that it was changed a lot from the old HD version of the game. Would people be interested in seeing a challenge of the classic version of this or any of the other classic campaigns? Redoing campaigns in the HD version might also be a good type to stream. If there are any in particular that you'd like to see me do, let me know down in the comments. That will do it for now. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, I would really appreciate a subscription. I hope to catch you with the next video. Have a good one.